second presentation today. With us is Artur Reterski, Vile Monarch, pixel art, not for everyone.
Hello everyone. Do you hear me well? Yeah. Great. So, I'm Artur Reterski, but most people in game dev know me as Artur Reterski. So it's easiest way to find me on internet. I'm a pixel artist with 10 years of experience, and during this time I've worked for many companies and single developers. Nowadays I'm also member of Vile Monarch studio, where we made 3 games in pixel art style, which are Crush Your Enemies, small RTS with barbarians. Also the Insult Simulator, which is Insult Simulator. And also the Hollywood Roast, the sequel of previous one. So now we are making something much bigger and not in pixel art, but I can't say anything more about it. So let's talk about pixels. Okay, so as freelancer, I was hired by many developers, which all of them were very similar. All of them wanted to make pixel art games, of course, but most of them don't know much about pixel art. And so each time I've asked them, okay, so what kind of pixel art game do you want to make? And they said, you know, that just pixel art. And I think it's why we should start from talking about what kind of pixel art we have. Oh, and what's some little theory, what is definition of pixel art? So definition from Wikipedia. Pixel art is a form of digital art created through the use of software where images are edited on the pixel level. But it's not full definition. I like to add one more sentence to it. Pixel art is digital art where artists try to get the best result with limited resources, for example, resolution, colors, file weight. So we have 3 kinds of pixel art. It's not official knowledge. Artists use this 3 groups because it's easier to communicate what kind of pixel art we are making, what kind of pixel art game we want to make. So the first one, retro pixel art. The first one and the eldest, of course, still style defined by type of hardware. In the 80s, each computer or console had their own limitation, and for an example, we can see game from Commodore 64 on your left, and game from NES on your right. And you can see that they have different resolutions, different color palette. Also, pixels in Commodore 64 was wider, not square, just like now. Also, there are many pixel artists who not only making games, they are also making art in pixels. So, for an example, Ptoing and his art stylized. Trying to reach retro style in Commodore 64, or ILK. I think it's quite good graphic for splash screen or something. Or Arachne, and this girl is making still games for Commodore 64. So this style is still living, and there are people who want to make games for Commodore 64, but I don't think they sold them much. Okay, next one, true pixel art, is style where limitations are made by artists. There are a lot of games in this style where developers wanted to make art in the old way, For an example, these two. On your left, Flint Hook, and on the right, Super Mutant Alien Assault. Great name. So okay. Okay, so I think it's most popular group of pixel art style because we have many artists and each of them can define their own style, but they are trying to get this old way of making pixels. Also, as many artists, so as many styles. For example, Elk, which is very good pixel artist, wanted to reach HD resolution graphics using pixels, and this graphic has only 64 colors, for example, and was made only pixel by pixel. Amazing. Or again, Arachne, which style is very popular because we see very harsh detailling, and it makes things looking unique. Yeah. So, and last one, Full, where his style is very detailed, low resolution, and cartoonish. Okay, and last one, modern pixel art. This style is most popular nowadays because every indie game, most indie games in pixel art using this style, because this style is breaking the rules of pixel art, which so we can make new fresh games, adding, for example, some clouds or alpha lights, adding some 3D. But it's not this true classic pixel art. It's something new. It's why we are calling it modern. And Brandon Sheffield wrote an article for Gamma Sutra where is very interesting quote, and it says, "Not all pixel art is the same, and not all of it retro. So Super Brothers is not Solutions, is not Paul Robertson. All are pixel artists, all have found their own style, and none of their style existed before in a retro sense. They operate outside of the constraints that made pixels are necessary in the past. Pixels alone do not mean retro. Again, they are a tool that an artist can use to create something interesting. That's it." So also we can make some art in not only games, also art. So for example, Solutions, which are making mock-ups and stylized arts using pixel art, mix of pixel art and some alpha lights, and this noise. It's not deterring. It's some kind of noise, and we can't call it pixel art. But the base for this picture was pixel art. Also, Paul Robertson. One of the most popular artists who is making movies in pixel art, but his movies has gradients, has lights. So okay, so pixel art was base for his movies, but it's not this true retro pixel art. It's something new. Also, there is something which isn't pixel art. We call it oekaki, what means in English just doodles. And not everything making from pixels is pixel art. And for example, on your left, you can see solution picture. Okay, we can see some creature or something like that, and we can see some kind of dithering and single pixels, but whole picture isn't pixel art because there are no rules in it. There we have random pixels are randomly placed. We have some gradients, no color limitations. It's not pixel art. Again, on the right, we have pretty good painting. Okay, I see this Mona Lisa, but it's not pixel art. It's just a bunch of mixed lines made in paint. So not everything you can make in paint is pixel art too. remember that pixel art has some rules. Okay, so there are 3 basic heresies. And I want to tell you why you shouldn't make pixel art games, and because it's not so easy, not so fast, and not so cheap. So why? I don't know. I think that people think about pixel art is easy because okay, I'm a digital artist, so I can do pixel art. But most of these artists don't know these unique techniques which we can use, which are base of pixel art. If you want to make good pixel art, you need to know them. Mostly not neat terms, but you know how to use them. But I maybe say something about each of these single terms. So we have anti-aliasing. Okay, 2D art, digital art, 3D art they have anti-aliasing, but in pixel art you are making it manually, pixel by pixel. So you need to know how to put these anti-aliasing pixels, and it's the difference. Also deterring in 2D and 3D games. Also we have deterring, but in pixel art they used to making more colors from limited palette. Also stylized deterring, which, for example, Exoket style, we can see that he's using deterring, but rather than single pixels, he uses splats to move smooth between, make transition between colors. Okay, so jaggies occur when a pixel of group of pixels are out of place, interrupting the flow of the line. So making straight, good lines is very important, and artists who don't know anything about it just making this line and don't care about the placement of it. Also bending, it's very common mistake and problem where people just make, okay, I want to make anti-aliasing, but they are making this bad. Pillow shading. Again, this first school don't have solid, they look flat or something like splat. So you should know how to make it. Also, pixel animation. This is special unique for pixel art because with it you can make more smooth animation. Also, you can make animation where you couldn't make it without it. For example, you are making very small character, for an example, 8 pixel tall, and we want to animate his hair, where his hair is 1 pixel. And okay, so I can move this pixel from place to place, and it's animation in pixel art, but it isn't smooth, it isn't fluid, and we can adding more frames with additional colors between them, making animation smooth. For example, this blue guy has sub-pixel animation. This guy from the right hasn't. Okay, so next heresy, pixel art is fast. This graphic belongs to Elk. This guy who want to HD, who like HD resolution graphics pixel art style, and it was made in 400 hours, and it's a lot. And really, if you want to splash screen in your game, looking like this, do you have enough money to pay him for his 400 hours? So pixel art isn't fast. I think that things which are bad quality and small are fast. So cheap 3D graphics are fast too. Also, we are okay about cheap. I think everything with bad quality is cheap. So there are standard rates for artists, and they are mostly the same, like for 2D digital artists or 3D. So you can see that Elk is pretty talented artist, so also maybe or expert. So $30 per hour, and we can have this dragon. It's a lot of money. Okay, so there are a few problems with pixel art if you are making pixel art games. So I want to tell you about that. Okay, the first one, scale. It's very simple rule, but most of people don't know it, and it's basics. So pixel art don't like scaling. Only you can scale pixel art using full numbers, and how you can see on the first picture is proper scaling up picture. Second one is blurry because it was scaled using automatic scale up, and it's why he has automatic anti-alias, which makes him blurry, and it's not pixel art right now. And last one, he looks quite good, but pixels don't have the same dimensions. So the clarity of this picture looks weird. We can see that something is wrong with him. Okay, so this is the great example how bad scaling can make your game bad. For example, you shouldn't use the different scales of assets in the one scene. And you can see here this heart in the corner has some much different scale than this guy on the first plan, and everything looks weird, not consistent. And aesthetic is bad in this graphic, and I don't like it very much. Also, zooming is problematic because this is Zombie Night Terror, pretty good game, but I don't like zooming this game because the first rule, we can scale pixel art only by full numbers, and we want to make fluid zoom. It doesn't work much, and you shouldn't do this. Zombie Night Terror is modern pixel art game, so yeah, they break the rules, so they can make whatever they want. But in true pixel art, you shouldn't make zooms. Okay, next one, resolutions. So if you are making games for different platforms, for example, mobiles, PC, consoles, all of them have different resolutions. And if we can't scale pixel art, so how we can fix it? In OSER, Insult Simulator, we connect UI elements to the borders, and we make bigger borders and cut them down depend of resolution. For example, this orange rectangle, it's a resolution for mobile which varies bad performance. Also, in Crash Enemies, we have the same problem because it was made in pixel art, but we had different resolutions of scenes, and we wanted to make it, we wanted to various sizes of levels. So we need moving borders, so we made something like this. We cutted borders, and we can make various sizes of levels. Also, animations could bring you a lot of problem because pixel art animations are made frame by frame. We can't use, of course, in modern pixel art you can use everything you want, but in true pixel art you can't use Live2D, Spriter, or other programs for rigging. And when you have a lot of animation, also if you have characters and they are moving in many directions, you need to paint each direction separately. You can't make one model, make walking animation and just render all of directions. No, you need to paint every of them. So it's little guy, and even if he's little, but it has a lot of, I've put a lot of work to make it. So it's not so quite easy. Also, pixel art is not weight much. It's pixel art, and but if you have a lot of sprites, like a sprite sheet like this, you have a lot. Your files weight much. And for example, we lowered the resolution and quality of our asset for iPhones, I think. Yeah. So also, if you want to make fluid animation, it's graphics from Gunsport, which is made by Microsoft Games, where I worked with lead artists, which wanted to make graphics just like in Street Fighter. And artists in Street Fighter made them, first they made animations on paper, just like in Disney. After that they scanning it, put in computers, make outlines on these scans, and after this paint them. It's a lot of work, it's long process. So these things took us a lot of time, and also in this game you have aiming animation. We need to separate their arms and make all this degree of rotation. So because we don't want to rotate it, right? So we need to paint each of degree. Also, when character jumped, her hair was flying in some direction. So also we paint them. So one character is 2 weeks of working or more. And if you have much of characters like this, it's much more. Okay, so a lot of people think that paint is enough for making pixels, and they are right. You don't need anything more. But there are a lot of handy softwares designed for making pixel art. And of course, you can use Photoshop because Photoshop can make everything, but this is very big and complicated tool, and you can use. I recommend it. Promotion and Sprite. They are very good softwares. I think Sprites is a little bit better because it's cheaper, only $15. Also, in promotion, you can't make animation and layered graphic in the same project. So, little inconvenience. Okay, so I want to show you VIP steps, because when I'm making art, I don't use only one program. Because if you want to reach the best quality of your art, you can't just make it in one program. And for example, I drew sketch in Photoshop. After this, I copied it into promotion, making line art, added some colors, making the details, and after this, I've animated in Sprite. So one graphic, 3 programs. Okay, so where to seek knowledge, or where to seek someone for hire or job offers? There are a few sites which I recommend, for example, Pixel Joint, which is a big gallery with forum where you can talk with many artists. And if you are looking inspiration for your game, I think it's the best and the first choice. Pixelation is the biggest forum for pixel artists, and mostly only for them. So you can find their knowledge, job, everything. And TixSource, site for developers, very good site made by Derek Yu, the developer of Spelunky. I don't know what to say much about this, but you should visit this. Also, Sprite Resources, rip-off base. It's perfect choice if you are making some prototype. You don't have your artist or you don't want to make art on the first level of prototype. So you can just use graphics from games you like, right? Open Game Art is a small community with some free stock pixel art graphics. And Pixel Prospector is huge base of pixel art tutorials. Okay, so pixel art, it's not only sitting on okay, you can use your pixel art skills not only for making games or art on your computer. So you can make paintings, you can make posters, and when you have some pixel art skills, there are a lot of activities what you can do. Okay, so let's talk about perspectives, because each time I've talked with my friends who make games in digital art, on 3D art, they always say to me something like this. So when the first computers and consoles were old, people said pixel art is dead and it will be no more pixel art and you lose your job and there is no future in it. And after this, handheld consoles appeared and pixel art was live once again. But after handheld, people say something like this: okay, so handheld consoles are old, now pixel art is no more and you lose your job, do something different. And after this, mobile devices was pretty, so little computers where there are a lot of pixel art games. So yay, pixel art again. And okay, so when smartphones appeared, people said, okay, now there won't be nothing better than smartphones. You lose your job, pixel art is dead. And after this, if you see this part in the middle, you see that this year of indie games, and after this, everything goes up, and it's still growing. Okay, some. I want to say that pixel art now is quite popular, and trends are not dying just like that, and it will be popular in the future. So it's still place for pixel artists, for pixel art game, and stuff like this. So, conclusion. I told you why you shouldn't make pixel art, but I want to say something why maybe you want to try it. And it's topic of self-mortification because it gives a lot of satisfaction. And I think each hard thing gives a lot of satisfaction. And pixel art is one of these things. It's stylized graphic, so it isn't getting old pretty fast. And it's common knowledge that stylized graphics are complete. They they won't be better. We can make new, fresh things, design new, fresh things, but the base rules are the same. Also, good pixel art still can be used to make new, fresh things. For example, when we were making also the Insult Simulator, I was tired of playing all the same. All the pixel art games were the same, modern pixel art everywhere. So I wanted to make pixel art game in true pixel art, but something new, something fresh. And I've mixed pixel art with cubism. And it's how we made also Insult Simulator, which has very unique pixel art graphic. So, do we have any questions? Come on.
To be honest, it was my job to set that. I'm moderating the discussion. So we have a mic, and you can ask Artur some questions about everything. Be creative.
I'm here for you, you know.
We have a first question. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Sławek. It's a great speech. Thank you very much. I have a question regarding the tiles. Are you using tiles in, for example, like Insult Simulator, because it looks like your graphic art is able, let's say, to fit into the 8x8 or whatever, 16x16 pixels? Are you compressing it using the tile maps for your art?
Well, I think I don't know what you are talking about.
I mean, for example, in a NES system or the Commodore 64, you have like tiles or let's say characters.
Oh, tiles. Oh,
Yeah.
It's. I think that tiles is best solution for pixel art because, like I said before, big pixel art graphics took a lot of time and are not cheap. But when you are making big pixel art using tiles, which are small, it's best choice, perfect choice. So yeah, I try to use tiles everywhere when I can, but they are not suitable for every game. For an example, in also the Insult Simulator, we don't have tile-based graphic, but in Crush Your Enemies, where characters are moving on levels which are based on tiles, it's perfect choice.
More questions?
I've got a question. Do you see, except the trend that is coming back from all the oldest people that we are, that actually knew pixel art because it was the computers that we were using back then, do you see a trend in terms of pixel art which is just something that will make again the pixel art moving forward? Like you said, there's now new rules that are breaking pixel art and that are actually very interesting too. But do you see something that would be different, or something that games can learn, or even some other type of features that can go with pixel art? Or is it just going to be just a way to represent art?
I think it's still place for new fresh things, but to be honest, future for pixel art isn't such bright. So because yeah, it's sliced graphics and it's hard to design new things. But for example, there are styles where you can show something more. For example, I always want to make pixel art game mixed with 3D art, and there are a lot of pixel art just like that games, but there are not many using 3D art texturing with pixel art. For example, you can use just pixel art just like textures on 3Ds, and it's something maybe not new, but there are not much games like this.
Okay, maybe we'll start with you, and then I go to you.
So often, for example, on Steam Greenlight and other places like this, it's noticeable that if a pixel art games are coming out, there is a noticeable backlash against this. There are people that say that the games should be moving forward when it comes to technology, and doing retro graphics is, well, hampering that progress. Is it? Have you really noticed that this backlash has any, impact on popularity of pixel art games, or is it only vocal minority?
I think I don't have your own mind about this. Because really, I think that people are tired a little bit of pixel art because it's everywhere. And I don't know. I can't say anything about it.
Thanks anyway.
Sorry.
Another question.
Yeah, I have. So
Well,
I have a question about the process, because you've shown us your dragon,
Yeah.
and it was like painted pixel by pixel. And what about I don't know, modeling something in 3D and then like lowering the quality to make it look pixel? Is it possible? Have you ever tried something like that?
It's the thing we called pixelized.
Yes, something like that. And so, is it popular nowadays, or it's like which way is more popular? I guess that's the question.
Okay, so when you are making small pixels, you are usually artists use this old way of making pixels, pixel by pixel. But when you are making bigger screens, people use something like what is called index painting. So you are using filters in Photoshop to make some kind of dithering, and you can paint bigger things with some filters, and they are looking quite similar to pixel art. For an example, old backgrounds for Chasm game was made just like this by Dan Fessler. But it's this modern way, right? Because it's not pixel by pixel. For an example, this dragon from Elk, he has a whole process, full animation, his process, where he is making it pixel by pixel. So yeah, he is a freak.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone has more questions?
So I just want to remind, we are hiring and we are looking talented people who want to make hard but satisfying things. Not only pixel art.
Maybe now there are some questions about the hiring thing. Some details, maybe after. So there are no more questions. I would like to thank you, Artur, for your performance. Maybe a big applause for our speakers. Thanks very much. Congratulations. Thank you.